Hi, I'm Olian, and actually, I am not experimenting with microalgae. This week, I attended the 2024 Villars Symposium, a conference in Switzerland bringing together the top climate and systems thinking experts, along with youth from around the world. The symposium was an amazing experience, and it was linked a lot to my passion for climate change, which ties hugely into my experiments. So I knew I just had to make a vlog about this. The symposium took place in the beautiful town of Villars in Switzerland. On Sunday, after a 7-hour plane ride that crossed into Monday, a train, and then a bus, I finally made it to Villars. And I'll say right away that I was stunned by its natural beauty. It's nestled in the Swiss Alps and it's surrounded by beautiful landscapes. And to me, these landscapes were an excellent reminder of what we were here for: to protect and conserve climate and nature for the years to come. Now, even before the symposium started, there was already an amazing event happening. Linked to the symposium was the annual meeting of the Global Learning Council. The Global Learning Council was created in 2014 to revolutionize the future of learning with science and technology. And the annual meeting was about bringing together technological experts, educators, and students like me to discuss the future of education. That evening, I got to hear from a really awesome panel that brought together 3 experts from various areas of education and get their thoughts. And I was given my first taste of the food at Villars, which, because it's a resort as well as a conference venue, was really awesome. The lunches and dinners that I had at Villars from then on held some of the most inspiring and interesting discussions that I had. I'll have to say right now that starting here, the days were super packed. I attended amazing sessions and met cool people from 8:30 in the morning to 10 at night. So this vlog would be hours long if I tried to cover everything that I learned, so I'm gonna have to stick to a few highlights. Tuesday was the second day of the GLC meeting. One of the best activities was one where we tackled educational challenges of the future, intergenerationally. We were posed the question, with unlimited resources, what educational challenge would you solve? And then we were led through a series of deeper and deeper questions that prompted some great discussions about the future of education. That evening, the Villars Symposium also officially started, with a distinguished lecture by Professor Subra Suresh, whose list of achievements is honestly far too long to go into here. But he's also an incredibly insightful human being, and he shared his thoughts on how we can bring together nature, machines, and humans with the concept of co-intelligence, which I found super interesting. Now, I should probably take a quick detour to explain exactly what the symposium was. The Villars Institute is an organization that was created in 2022, dedicated to creating a net zero and nature-positive future for humanity. The way we seek to do this is through systems change, creating the political, economic, and social systems necessary for a better world. So the symposium was designed to cultivate the understanding of the need for systems change among people like me, youth passionate about climate change, and enable us to become systems leaders. And key to this is intergenerational collaboration, where young people like me worked and spoke directly with experts in climate change and systems. So day 2 of the symposium was about setting objectives for it and learning about why systems leadership is necessary. But on top of that, we also had one of my biggest highlights, the Frontiers Planet Prize Award Ceremony. The Frontiers Prize consists of researchers from over 475 leading universities, each working on research in one of the 9 planetary boundaries that we can't exceed if we want to have a nature-positive and net zero future. The prize was shortlisted to 23 national winners, and in the awards hosted at Villars, there emerged 3 international winners, each winning an amazing $1.1 million to continue their research. So as a budding scientist with a lab in my basement, the prize and their winners were super inspiring. All of the research was super interesting. And as Camilla Markham, one of the founders of the Frontiers Journal, put it, the prize is like an Olympic competition for planetary health research. It's designed to celebrate the fantastic contributions of researchers around the world. And it comes at a perfect time, when this research is incredibly vital to the future of humanity. A big thank you to all the organizers from Frontiers and Villars for making this happening, and huge congratulations to all the national and international winners. The third day of the symposium was packed with parallel sessions, which were an awesome opportunity to meet experts and interact with fellows in a more closed environment. Instead of having just one big session with everybody, we had 4 different sessions that you could pick which one you wanted to go to. And one of my favorite sessions that day were with the Frontiers Prize winners. After learning a bit about their research, we worked together to come up with solutions to environmental problems adjacent to their work. Aside from being excellent scientists, the winners were great at stimulating our ideas and helping us come up with actionable solutions to problems. And getting to talk to some of the top climate scientists in the world was honestly an awe-inspiring experience. It gave me a sense of direction for my future, with the experimentation that I'm already starting now. The final day of the symposium was dedicated to what's next. We heard from a panel of experts on ecopreneurship and some really awesome ideas on how we can make economics-focused climate solutions in the real world. And later, we had our bittersweet final session, sharing our takeaways and actions for the future. And to cap everything off, we had the opportunity to take a hike through the mountains around Villars. Once again, it was a beautiful experience, and taking the last few hours to appreciate nature was a perfect way to round off the conference. And by 5 a.m. the next day, I was on a train headed back to the airport, bringing my time at the symposium to a close. All in all, the Villars Symposium was an experience unlike anything I've ever had, and I have 3 main takeaways. The first is an idea that I found continually reinforced throughout the symposium. Climate and nature are intertwined, and each is intertwined with human life. It's impossible to keep climate and nature separate from the economy or society. One of the huge focuses of multiple talks at the symposium was how we can redesign economies to be climate positive. One of the big ideas was not taking nature for granted, and assigning it a value like we do everything else. Now this might sound weird, literally like money growing on trees, but we've shown through extensive modeling that emitting carbon dioxide or cutting down a tree has a measurable effect on the economy, because it plays a role in the environmental and economic impacts of climate change. By appropriately pricing these things, like assigning a cost to emitting a ton of CO2 or cutting down a tree, we can economically incentivize environmental stewardship. This, to me, is one of the most powerful ways to create action. My second insight is that we need to build consensus. It's been many years since scientists started reporting the increase in global warming as a result of human actions. And yet, we're only now seeing a collective view that climate change is an issue. And without it, things like this symposium wouldn't exist. Still, we don't yet have a consensus on how to best take action to solve it. And even though I believe a lot of climate action will come down to redesigning economic incentives, those incentives can be made a lot easier with consensus. An aligned population inspires policy leaders to take action, which in turn inspires change in governance, accelerating policies like carbon pricing that I talked about. I think it's really important that people like me, young people, understand the importance of the systems that we live in and the importance of consensus in building them. Lastly, on confidence in approaching experts. At the beginning of the symposium, that first night on Monday, I got nervous every time I thought about approaching experts out of the blue. But I was intentional about taking the plunge, and quickly realized that not only do the experts have tons to share, they were really open to discussing with people like me. The key was to approach them with the same passion and energy that I talk to anyone else. There's so many people I want to thank for this experience. First and foremost, a massive thank you to the organizers of the Villars Institute and the symposium, from the masterminds on the board of the Institute, all the way down to the people managing AV. Also, huge thanks to everyone I met at the symposium, especially all the experts, with your insightful ideas and your willingness to connect with a young person like me. Lastly, my biggest thank you goes to the Knowledge Society for giving me the opportunity to come to the symposium and have this incredible experience. I've come away from the symposium super inspired to keep pushing ahead with my work, to do my part in creating a net zero and nature positive future that Villars envisions. If you want to keep up with my work as I continue to build and grow and get back to experimenting, subscribe on YouTube, follow me on LinkedIn, and as always, I will see you in the next one.